Normally I'd make some type of joke here, but I watched nearly 12 hours of Big Ten football on Saturday, and there's not anything I could say that could be funnier than that. Let's kick this week off with something a little bit happier and start with the letter O for one. Specifically the fact that since only winning one set in its first two matches at the Devaney Center, the Husker women's volleyball team has since only lost a single set. With early losses to number 13 Florida State and number 4 Stanford, some people were starting to push the panic button for John Cook and his program. I know what you're thinking. Nebraska fans panicking early in the season? I could hardly believe it myself. But since that weekend, the team has won their last 3 matches by a combined score of 9-1, beating Dayton, Bakersfield, and Eastern Kentucky. I get that none of these schools are exactly top-flight programs, but it's nice to see the volleyball team notch a few wins and get some confidence back before they get deep into conference play in October. Next we have J for J.C. Johnson. In the last 4 Husker women's soccer games, the sophomore forward has netted 4 goals and the team improved to an overall record of 4-2 after splitting their home opener, with wins over Butler, Marquette, and North Dakota, and their only loss coming in double overtime against 20th-ranked Oklahoma. Thankfully, Nebraska has long since left the Big 12, otherwise that game against North Dakota may have been a bit scarier. Looking at you, Kansas State and Iowa State. Next, we move on somewhat regrettably to football. We've got D for depleted receiving corps. Coming into Saturday's game against apparent FCS powerhouse McNeese State, the Huskers had already been hit with above-average injury numbers. Randy Gregory was nursing an injured knee, not to mention the long list of players lost in the offseason. Things got a lot worse on Saturday as seniors Kenny Bell and Jamal Turner both left the game with injuries. Bell is now day-to-day with a small groin injury, but Turner saw his season end with a torn Achilles. Coming into this Saturday's game at Fresno State, the Huskers could be without 3 of their top receiving options if Bell isn't healthy, as Turner's now done for the year, and junior wide receiver Sam Birch has yet to play this year due to a concussion. Yes, we still have Jordan Westerkamp available to make ridiculous catches, and some of our younger receivers have shown a lot of promise, but it would be nice to have our offense as close to 100% healthy as soon as possible. Finally, we have B for the Big Ten's bad day. Saturday was an absolute atrocity for the Big Ten Conference in the eyes of the college football world. Nebraska had to rely on a 58-yard super run from Amir Abdullah. Iowa managed to sneak past Ball State even after punting from inside opponent's territory with 8 minutes left in the game, by then scoring 2 touchdowns in the final 3 minutes. Northwestern and Purdue both lost embarrassingly at home. Rutgers, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Minnesota all struggled against much lesser opponents. Ohio State and Michigan both got blown out, and Michigan State got outscored 28-3 in the second half in a loss to Oregon. It had many people pointing fingers at the Big Ten, calling it possibly the worst Power 5 conference in all of college football this season. And yes, that includes the ACC. However, I noticed something kind of nice about the constant Big Ten bashing on Saturday. How many times did you hear somebody talk about the SEC? See, even the darkest clouds have a silver lining. That's it for me this week. Feel free to follow us on Twitter @CornFedSports and @CornFedLive for all the latest news on all things Husker sports. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.